Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
I got everything really.
Blog Talk Radio.
The East is where we're from.
12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape, we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel, that's who we be. Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. Someone says we echoing?
Yeah.
Why is that? Is gathering Israel. They say it's echoing? This is weird. Are we still echoing? Because we echoing, I gotta come back. 1 second, let me fix it. Oh, that's why. We good. I found it. Don't worry about it. We should be fine now. The echo should be gone. We should be good now. I found the problem. Don't worry about it. All right. There you go. All right. Asha in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Somebody say, why the tree? Hold tight and you'll see why the tree is here. If you want to, take a snapshot of it and go put it on Instagram. We're going to show y'all why this tree's here. Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Ahiah's gathering Israel. Someone said, man, I didn't even notice that a tree was there. Great observation for the brother or sister that pointed out this tree in front of us. Some of us are so used to seeing this tree that we was like, well, I didn't even notice it was there, right? And that's deep in itself. Totally spontaneous. The elders of Gathering of Christ Church is here on this day to talk about it. We caught you by surprise, didn't we? I kind of figured we would just break the monotony since everyone is getting into the spirit and all that. I'm like, you know what? They got basketball games going on. They got the ham coming out of the oven right now. You know what? I'm not going to wait till they're fat and sleep. We're going in right now on this particular day. Folks, 515-605-9327. And I'm going to tell you why this tree is in front of us in a moment. Soon to be moved, but I made sure I went and got this prop for a specific purpose today. Okay? 515-605-9327. And guess what? We're not going to have a long, drawn-out broadcast. I really want to hear what you all are going through on this day. What have been your particular interactions during this time of year. And I would like to hear you chime in on this particular topic as the Gathered of Christ Church bring forth another, that's right, informative broadcast. You're going to find out something today you never knew. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. The topic of today, the gods of Christmas. A Christmas special. A Christmas special. And I want to say this. I want to commend those that are out there who are now reading the Bible, following the Bible, and have decided to take the right approach for this time of year. Excuse me, concerning what God you will serve, choosing what God you will serve in total understanding of what this day means to those masters over society. So I have to commend you, because I'm going to tell you, it's a valiant step one take in choosing right. Usually when you choose to go the right path or follow the Most High God, or just say, I will only deal with the days that God and Christ followed, usually you're rejected. Usually you're looked at as the dark child, the child with an issue, the person that's really are not going along with the get along. And I'll tell you, that's not easy in this world right now, this world of peer pressure. So I really have to commend you all on that. Now, let's talk about this tree in front of me real quick. It'll be moved in a second. The reason why we have this tree in front of us, and if you want to chime in, 515-6059-327. Be sure to hit that like button so that others on the outside of this broadcast can know that we are actually live, and it will trend from everything else going on this day, and it'll get interrupted with the truth. So hit that like button so as you come in, y'all know, just hit the like button, like any button, hit either one. It doesn't matter to me, because the way the algorithms go, if you hit the button, it shows that there's something happening, something generating on a particular channel. And through that, this particular broadcast actually get preferred when people come into YouTube, as the community comes in. All right. Now, the reason why we have this tree in front of us, 515-605-9327, if you would like to come in and talk to us. Let me make it clear, all right? I grew up in a predominantly Christian church, and I know you did too.
Yes, sir.
Right? So we're not even going to deal with this for what someone can view as a condescending position on others who may not have run into this particular information as of now or as of yet. I grew up every year, in a Christian home. I remember my mother decorating that tree, and I remember as a child looking forward to unwrapping those gifts. And I know the good feeling that comes from, and the anticipatory, that anticipating spirit that comes with this time of year for children. I know that because I was once a child looking forward, couldn't even sleep December the 24th in anticipation for because I knew Santa didn't exist eventually, but anticipation for getting one thing once a year in a poor house that I know I wouldn't have been able to get any other time. So it was something to look forward to, living in a poor home. And my mother did the best she can. You understand. My father did the best he can to make sure if we didn't have anything throughout the whole year, that they were going to get their children and make sure their children have a good Christmas. Okay, so this is not in disrespect to the good intentions of my family, because I know my mother and father would sacrifice months and months of paychecks to make sure their children weren't left out. And till this day, I appreciate it. It had nothing to do with the Christmas tradition in itself, but more so them sacrificing to show how much they love their children. And that will never go on unappreciated. Because I know now that I'm grown up and I'm learning this Bible, and I'm learning of God, and I'm learning what's going on, and I'm learning through the knowledge of God and his law to be able to discern good from evil. And I know there wasn't any evil intentions in what my mother and father sacrificed for me. Right. They was going to make sure we weren't left out. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's number one. So let me put that out there right now. Okay. They sacrificed for me. All right. And an appreciation of that. I know there's other people out there like my parents who are sacrificing for their children out of love, have nothing to do with whether or not they know what this day is. But this is a time people normally show some level of appreciation for those they care about.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to put that out there first. Right. Now, all day long, every place I go, people saying Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. And you know what? I'm looking at it. I'm like, you know what? And I need y'all to chime in on this. Is why is it only this time of year? Why only this time of year we actually feel some level of compassionate care for others? And then as soon as the ball drop, we're back to our rigmarole of total negativity, road rage, hatred for others. So I need y'all to tell me, what is it about this year that have that pulled, that moves that veil or that cloud of darkness that's normally on us to make us, engageable this time of year, whatever that is. So if I can take anything out of this time of year, I can always respect someone being nice and cordial. I can respect that because I know that comes from the heart. That's good. But I don't understand why it have to be triggered this time of year. It's as if it's some type of spirit that tells us that, okay, be good this time of year. I don't know if it's related to the understory that's related to it. Christ coming into the world, being born as a savior for the world. Is it in respect of that child being born that we begin to be cordial in respect of one another? All I know is if someone is nice to me, I'm nice back. Okay. I say thank you because I understand they don't know what this is.
Exactly.
And the last thing I want to do is rain on someone's happiness, and when they know the rest of the year, they're going to be miserable as you don't know what, right? So I know they're saying this in the kindness of their heart, not realizing what this day is. So if someone is wishing me something nice according to their, example of what they believe niceness is, I'm not going to take that away from them. Okay? I'll say thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I hope this time of year works good for you too. Right? Because as you grow older and you grow in wisdom, you learn how to operate with this word and become a sign for those who are without, knowing that an opportunity may arise in which they see you one day, and and that last impression could mean whether or not they choose the right path. Oh, he's the one that it was a good day I was having. I ran into this person. It totally rained. This is the only refuge we get from, the only solace we get from this world. So I'm going to teach, and I'm going to go into this in the true understanding of what everyone, all emotions, you know, all the different emotions that one would go through, whether you believe or not, today. And just bring some facts so that all of you out there can make an honest decision on whether or not you would want to continue to follow this particular day. Now, diving right in. Did Gaja, that was Gaja that reached out or no?
No, sir.
Okay, when he reach out, I'll just pull him in. Gaja come in a moment, right? Let me go right here real quick, and I'm going to show you for those who came in while the tree's here. Someone asked, what the tree doing there? I'm going to show you in a moment. Yeah, just put that on mute, yeah, right? Yes. So we're going to break this down into a few sections today, right? Like I discussed, it's something about this time of year that lead people to be more respectful, cordial, and nice. Why are people inordinately happy? It's like inordinate to the degree of happiness opposed to any other time of year. Is that a tradition? I want to also go into what did Christ and the disciples teach according to this day? And I wanted to go there because usually we're told that it had something to do with Christ's birth, which is the beginning of what we would call that respect of that child being born December 25th. And that's why the Western world today, or the Christians today, celebrate Christmas, right? But what I really want to go into after that is, well, what does God say about Christmas? Now, that's God's side, right? And I'm going to talk about that. What did the disciples teach concerning it? What did Christ teach concerning it? And the last piece I'm going to touch on, I'm going to jump from one to the next. You know, I'm going to finish up one part and jump to the next. The next one and the last one will be the deception. Why? The deception is the last piece we're going to go into because why? If you're going to follow something or relay it to others, you should give them full disclosure of its history and then give them an opportunity to choose whether or not to go down that path. And that's why even though I don't follow paganism or have any respect for those that worship the pagan gods and their gods, as a matter of fact, I disrespect the gods of the pagans. I respect them for making an honest choice to be pagans. At least they have full disclosure of that history and are not making an excuse for it, so that when this time of year do come around, they can relish in the spirit of it. They can totally consume the good of it, knowing exactly where it came from. So Christ said, either be hot or cold or be spewed out. Right? So I want to go into the deception because why? At the very end, tell people the origin of it and then give them a choice on whether or not to follow it. Which means if you're not willing to tell people the truth about it, you know something is wrong with it. In your heart of hearts, and I'm speaking of the authority now, if you're going to deceive somebody into following something with a false narrative, that means you must know it's evil. You know there's something dark about it. Okay, so I'm going to deal with the deception piece last, and I want to hear how you all in this knowledge are getting along this time of year on this day. You see what we're doing? Now, why do I have this tree in front of me, jumping right in? 2008, Elder Lawyer. 2008, I went to a church in New Jersey, a black pastor who was interested in knowing more about this Israelite thing as far as what we believe. So we were invited into his church. Now, There was a tree in his church. We went there the first week, like the first or second week in December. And at this time, I was a little bit more forward than I am now. I'm older now. But there was a tree so high in the foyer, you had to walk around the tree to get into the church. Now, this particular pastor, he wanted to debate and go back and forth with me. All right? I remember first him going into, what is this thing about only black people, that black people can be saved? That's the first thing he was coming with me with. And I'm like, sir, what are you talking about? Whoever said that being an Israelite or following the law, statutes, and commandments mean that only black people can be saved? Who told you that? So what you're doing now is really almost to a level of smearing someone. Okay? That's not honest. If you want to know what I believe, ask me what I believe. Because being an Israelite isn't a group. It isn't an ideology. Those are the people in the Bible. Now, just like you're going to have white people who might not like black people. I'm not going to every white man I run into and ask, well, what's this thing you're following that hates all black people? That's nonsensical. That's unintelligent to actually walk and believe that that there's a blanket understanding of what an Israelite is. It's condescending and disrespectful. That's what I was telling him. I'm like, sir, that's totally condescending and disrespectful to relegate the gospel of Christ and what I believe into, and you have quantified this. And you will probably say that to people in your congregation that it means only black people can be saved. It's disingenuous. That's the word. So I had to get that out of the way first. I'm like, because it's utterly ridiculous. Christ was an Israelite. The disciples were Israelites. Right? But then, at that time, being a younger man, being in my, younger man, I'm like, you know what? It's time to hit him in the jugular now. I'm like, sir, you have an idol in your foyer, a Christmas tree. He says, what? I'm like, you have an idol in your foyer, a Christmas tree. He was a brother, pastor, long tenured pastor in New Jersey. He was in Camden, mind you. And he said, well, God is not going to judge me for having a tree in my foyer in respect of me honoring his son, Jesus. Jesus is the reason for the season, he told me, Elder Lawyer. Now, this was before I met you, Elder Lawyer. You understand? Before you came in. And I said, sir, do you know that in the Bible teaches against that tree? He says, son, I've been reading this Bible for decades. And if the Bible told me, and Jesus told me not to deal with that tree, you wouldn't see a tree in there. And here it is. Now I have them boxed in. There's 3 walls and a ceiling. And I just have to shut the door now. I'm like, sir, you mean to tell me you read that Bible? He says, that's right, boy. He looking at me. He's a gray man and all that. I'm like, okay, sir. If I show you that tree is wrong in the Bible, will you shut down or at least tell your congregation that it's incorrect? At least? He says, I done read that Bible, young man. I'm like, sir, let's go to Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. Elder Lawyer, get Jeremiah 10 for me.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse number 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
O house of Israel,
Thus saith the Lord,
thus saith the Lord.
learn not the way of the heathen.
So the God who sent Jesus Christ to die on the sins for our die on the cross for our sins. This is the God that was teaching or prophesied in the Old Testament of his son, right, Pastor? He told us, believers, to do what?
Learn not the way of the heathen.
We cannot learn the way of the heathen. Right? Heathen are who? Non-Israelite races or nationalities in the Bible. Those that follow the Babylonian holidays, opposed to the holidays in the Bible. Christ followed the Sabbath. Christ followed the Passover. Matter of fact, that was the time of year in which he was given up to be crucified, to be the Passover according to an Old Testament holy day. 7 Sabbaths from that time, which is Penti, is where the Holy Spirit came down on the disciples to give the understanding of Christ's ministry to all of the Jews, the devout Jews throughout the world, who didn't understand the disciples' tongue. So they were there on the holy days. So all through the New Testament, it speaks of the holy days written of in Leviticus 23. So the pagans or the heathen have holidays. I is synonymous with Y. So this is their holy days. And God said, learn not the way of the heathen. Right? Read.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
And don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven. And we went into a lesson, the creation of the universe, that the signs breaks down the constellations. It's really the heavenly tables. And don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven. Why? Because we understand what the signs are there for. Season, times, and jubilees. We understand that in the stars, it's really the heavenly table that makes up the word of God. So we don't have to be dismayed at looking in the sky to figure out what's going on. What's written in the stars is actually in prophecy. We can just read it. In total communication with our God, who sent the stars for your constellations, signs, and seasons. See? So we're not dismayed. We're not looking up in the sky and trying to get some level of revelation from the stars, because our God made the stars. See? Come on.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
The heathen are dismayed at them. Read.
Verse 3. For the custom of the people are vain.
Here's the point that this is the thing that I had this pastor focus on in New Jersey, Camden. Right? That what? That the customs of the people are vain. Vanity means it's of no value to God. Now, what you're doing for other people and all that, okay, that's your traditions. And we'll talk about that too. But don't try to pull God into it. That's the issue. Because it says the customs of the people are vain. What you're doing is vanity. That means God is not going to give you any points for acknowledging his son this time of year. Your customs have no value with God, especially after he gave you customs to follow, which we continually break. So how can he honor the customs of the heathen, right? And at the same time, you're disrespecting the customs he gave the children of Israel. Does that make any sense to you? Why he would honor a heathen time? when we are ignoring the times he gave us to acknowledge him? Read.
For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of a forest.
For one cutteth a tree out of a forest. This is a tree.
The work of the hands of the workmaster with the axe.
Now, the Bible is actually describing the customs of the heathen, which are vain, according to the God of the Bible who sent his son Christ. Now he's giving you a descriptive example of what the God of the heavens, what he's against. He's describing it now. Read it again.
For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
The work of the hands of the workmaster or the workman with the axe.
Come on.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
They deck it with silver and with gold. That's the gold tinsel and the silver tinsel.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers.
They fasten it with nails and hammers, but back then they fastened it, but this one has a little bottom on it. Yeah, you see it? I just need you to show a physical description, because the Bible teaches us that Jacob, God's people, seeketh a sign. Okay. Or sometimes we try to lie through omission, or altogether feel that we are, as a people, absolved through ignorance. So what I did was the same way I have this prop in front of showing you this and reading it out of the Bible. I was using that tree in a Christian church as the example to that pastor of what not to do according to the God he claimed to serve. Read.
They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not.
Come on.
They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not.
Come on.
They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them.
Be not afraid of them, the God of Israel told his people. Read.
For they cannot do evil.
They do. So obviously there's some type of pressure that's on people this time of year, where God is telling his people, be not afraid of the environment and what's going on during that time. Nothing can happen to you. Walk the straight gate is what our God was telling us. Read.
Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good.
Neither even if it isn't in them to do good. Why did the God of Israel say this through the prophet Jeremiah, you might ask? Well, you have to realize there was history with the Babylonian tree. There was history that was with the tree. That the tree erected over Nimrod's grave. Nimrod is the hunter, or the power or god that was worshipped in ancient Babylon, who was married to his mother Semiramis. And I'm going to deal with her in a moment. The virgin goddess. Okay? Which predates Christ. I mean, you're talking about during Abraham's time. Before Abraham's time, Nimrod erected the Tower of Babel. Okay? Now, this particular tree Semiramis was losing her political grip on society after Nimrod's death. Why? Because the majority of the earth feared her son, and they were able to consolidate power through that fear. So when a tree erected, the mother made up a myth or claim that Nimrod's spirit was in the tree, and that if you didn't acknowledge or pay homage to the tree, eventually that spirit would haunt you or attack you, or you would die altogether. And in some instances, people were beheaded for disrespecting the tradition. That's the ancient tradition before it became all dialed up and merchandised and fa la 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 la. And that's why you have your balls on the table, which sometimes, in certain instances, meant the beheading of those who decided not to participate in ancient times. Hey, I explained this to the pastor, and you know what he told me? Get out of my church. I'm like, huh? I thought we had an agreement here. He looked at me, folks, and I believe that if he had let me tell you, he's ready to go to blows. He says, get out of my church. So I left. We ought to obey God rather than men. He put me out of his church for pointing out the fact that he had an idol in his foyer in which he was going to utilize to make merchandise of God's people. Because there weren't no, don't forget, he's not a pastor of white people. He's pastoring all black people. There's no other race of people that was in his church but those in Camden. And hey, he cannot say he wasn't told. Mm-hmm. You have anything to say, Elder Lawyer?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Just on something you were mentioning earlier, and I'm not sure if we're at this point yet, just dealing with the spirit of this time of year. It's eerily, I can't even describe, I can't even come to the words to describe what it feels like during this time of year. It's almost like the energy and the devotion that we've given to this time of year has given it that particular feeling where you just can't describe it. There's a joy, or there's an emotional attachment there to where people actually, they actually honor this in similar fashion as one would, I guess, in the old covenant, honor a Sabbath. To where you see that spirit of rest, you see that spirit of peace in the earth, where people are more cordial, people are more, they seem like they're more spiritual or what have you during this particular time of year.
More human, more loving, more caring.
Exactly.
As if there's some level of accountability for that. Like, what's the base of that spirit is what we're trying to figure out. As if they're doing right by God. And you know what? A lot of them feel that way. But what is that spirit, though, is what we'll identify.
Right.
But there is a spirit there somewhere. Because why? Man, I sure wish that we could actually, and they force you to deal with it like a Sabbath. It's like, now I feel right now what our forefathers felt when the Passover came around. There was no merchandise. There was no stores. All the stores are closed on this particular day, like it used to be in Israel on a Sabbath, like you were mentioning.
Exactly.
I wish we can feel like this love we're feeling all the time, because we used to feel this every week on the Sabbath. So it's like the world is waiting for one particular time of year to be nice and feel this way. When at one time under the Hebrews, before we fell, we felt this way every Sabbath, from Sabbath to Sabbath, because everything was shut down to a degree in which we had to acknowledge and interact with each other. And the Sabbath reminds us of that law, that civility that was given to us, the reminder of our people going into captivity and being freed from the hands of the Egyptians. See? And now I'm like, man, did they steal God's stilo? Did they steal his vibration? Did they steer this love that we have and this goodness we feel this time of year? Or not just steal it, a better word, have they redirected
Yes.
that love? Is it being redirected? Is a better question.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, I love the fact that people are nice to each other this time of year and feeling good. And you can have a stranger who would just look at you and try to, be wary of you. Everyone is just open and caring. You go to a store, you go someplace all week. Yeah, happy holidays, da 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 da. Man, who wouldn't like that? But is that spirit, this kindness, being redirected someplace else?
Yes. And to answer that question, the scripture in Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13 speaks about making the Sabbath a delight.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever you put, if you put your heart and your mind and you give all of your devotion into keeping the Sabbath a peaceful day, a day of rest, then that Sabbath becomes a delight. Well, as you mentioned, that stilo or that energy has been redirected to where that devotion that would one day, or that peace and that rest, that solitude that would be there for the Sabbath, is now associated with someone else's holiday.
Exactly. But now it's time to really figure out where has it been redirected to? Where has it been redirected to, folks? Where? Let me see if Elder Gaja is with us. Hold on 1 second. Okay, he's here. Let me bring in Elder Gaja real quick. 1 second, folks. Okay, Elder Gaja, you with me?
Shalom, shalom, elders.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed. I'll tell you what, I'm happy that this day is almost done. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what's going on over there?
Man, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with the lights. I can't deal with the trees. I can't deal with everything. Like you said just before, Eloy, like this so-called, this pseudo Sabbath that people get into. It drives me crazy. You with me? So I mean, I can't wait for the ball to just drop and we go back to normality. You understand?
Hey, I tell you what, man. I was amongst some people the other day and I heard someone say, "Boy, I got that glazed ham just working right now."
Right.
I got the pineapples in the middle. I got the pepper in the top, in the middle of that thing. And I got that ham ready to go. We're going to talk about that too. But so you with me? I just want to make sure you with me. I'm about to jump in real quick, okay?
Hey, I'm here, man. I'm ready to go.
All right. And it's deep in itself, like I was just mentioning, that the fact that I brought this out with a pastor years ago in a black church where the Bible distinctly told him not to have that idol in his building. And instead of him really, I'll tell you what, thanking me for relaying some information to him that he overlooked, because obviously after telling me he read the Bible backwards and forward, it's just one thing he probably overlooked. Instead of thanking me for overlooking it, he put me out of his church. Now, I'm like, this ain't Christ-like. I mean, would Jesus do this?
Hey, check this out, Elder, right?
Come on.
Years ago,
Yeah.
A few years ago, man, we went into a church about this time of the year as well. And we were reading the Bible in the church, and the pastor called the police on us. Yo, check this out. When the police shows up, right? They go. The police ask them, what are they doing? And they go, oh, they're reading the Bible. And the police went, what? Isn't this a church? It's like the police was bemused. I couldn't believe it that they call the police on us for reading the Bible in the church. You with me? And it's, hey, listen, these Christian churches are these Nimrod churches. That's what they are. The pagan temples. You with me? Whether they know it or not. That's what it is. It's a pagan temple.
I know you hitting them hard real quick, but I'm trying to give it to him in increments now. I'm trying to give it. I know. I mean, he's
small dose.
man. Listen, he just got a sword chopping right now. But I'm trying to work. I'm trying to just slowly paint the whole picture, right? All right. So just hold. I'm gonna cut you loose in a moment, guys. Just hold tight, all right?
All right, man. I'm on mute.
All right, great. That's all the gotcha. All right. I'll tell you what. Now, first of all, what did the disciples have to say about this particular time of year, right? Now, Christ said he came not down to do his own will, but the will of him that sent him. Let's get that real quick in the book of John.
St. John chapter 5, verse number 38.
And the reason why I'm going into the Christ part of this first is for the simple fact that pastors going forward. Now, people is one other thing, right? Our people trust that our pastors are leading them correctly. The Bible even calls those in the church and those within the pews and the members of the church, they're more so like sheep being guided by a shepherd. So it's no negative reflection on those who don't know. The Bible says in times past, he winked at our ignorance, but now command everyone everywhere to repent. So you can't come down on the sheep who entrusted that their pastor would give them the correct path. This is specifically for so-called elders and teachers who are in a position of apostleship, of evangelizing, right? So Christ said, what? Read it.
This is St. John chapter 6, verse number 38.
Come on.
For I came down from heaven not to do mine own will.
Not to do mine own will.
But the will of him that sent me.
But the will of him that sent me. So Christ didn't come in the New Testament to do something different than the God who sent him. Okay? He's the son of the same God that was speaking in Jeremiah 10, learn not the way of the heathen. Right? I need y'all to see this. So we're taught in our ignorance that this time of year and Christmas and all that has something to do with Christ. And through that, we hold dear this time of year as a tradition. And eventually, we hand down that tradition to our children. Most in total ignorance to what it is. But the Most High gives an opportunity for everyone to hear the truth before judgment, so that no one can say that they were without a warning, or at least the intel or intelligence to make an intelligent spiritual decision. So now I'm speaking to believers right now who've been using this day as a day to reverence the Messiah. Well, the Messiah said what? He come not down to do his own will. Read.
But the will of him that sent me.
But the will of him that sent him. The will of God. The God of the prophets of the Old Testament. Read.
Verse number 39. And this is the Father's will which have sent me.
This is the Father's will that have sent me.
That of all which he have given me, I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again the last day.
All that the Most High have given him, he'll what?
All that the Father have given me, I will raise up.
I will raise up.
I should lose nothing, but shall raise
I'm
it
not
up.
going to lose nothing, but shall raise up
again at the last day.
Again at the last day. That's that remnant who walks that narrow path. See? He says, let me tell you, he says, when it comes to the world, hey, greater is the destruction for those who are in the world. His path is narrow. His path was given to him by our Father. So Christ wouldn't be doing a tradition or a holiday in which the world could accept. That's number one. Okay, first of all, if you're in line with the Most High, you go back to the Old Testament and find the Old Testament holy days, if that's what you would like to do as a tradition. If it's a holiday you're going to uphold, then at least have it be a credible holiday that you can actually go to in the Bible and give a reason by God for doing so. It's nothing like, folks, following something ignorantly without being able to show its credibility. Okay, to not be able to do the research and say, you know what, God is backing my actions. Okay, so this is specifically to the pastors who to some degree are purposely misleading the people. Not to the people. I'm talking about the pastors and leaders who are purposely misleading God's people. There's a judgment for that, but I don't want to go there yet. Let's talk about this real quick, right? 515-605-9327. We only got one more hour, and I'm going to open up the lines. Last week, folks, last Sunday, we went into the Hebrew and Bible Academy. We're only in week 2, going into this week, tracing the serpent seed and the fall of the gods this coming week. But speaking of that, going into the celestial realm on how all things were made, it leads us into the fallen gods. Why? Because I said that maybe the heathen are following, or the spirit of this goodwill we feel this time of year, maybe it's actually being redirected into something else. Come to find out, the fallen gods are the gods the heathens were worshiping with that tree in ancient Babylon. The fallen gods. So they would relate it to the Virgin Mary. Then you do the research that Virgin Mary isn't Christ's mother. It's a goddess by the name of Semiramis. It has nothing to do with Christ or God. And then you go into the book of Revelation, and it talks about this woman, this female, this great whore that sits on many waters. Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots. That the Roman Empire would take the spirit of this goddess over the waters and do what? Began to exalt the goddess again in the new world to be worshiped as she was in ancient Babylon. Semiramis, the goddess of fertility. Right? They say that she was impregnated without a man, okay, in ancient times. She came down and hatched on the river Euphrates from an egg. That's why you have your eggs and rabbits during the time of Easter, the spring solstice. They say she was impregnated by a god. I'm speaking of Semiramis. And she brought forth the son, the S-U-N-S-O-N, 9 months later. Easter solstice, she was impregnated by an entity. 9 months later, December 25th, she brought forth the demigod, Tammuz. later worshiped in Persia as mistress, picked up by the Roman Empire, and then eventually she was brought to America. Eventually, Semiramis was brought to America, the mother of Christmas. Huh? What? Didn't know that, did you? One second here. She was brought to America, folks. One second here. One second. Had to plug something up here, get some power. She was brought to America, Semiramis. Now, I need you to think about that for a minute, because we learned of these traditions not by our God, but while in servitude. Now, the pagans who founded this country, the occultists who founded this country, had full knowledge of the ancient Babylonian gods and goddesses they were worshiping. They continued to worship and give honor and sacrifice, including child sacrifice, to these same gods and goddesses within secret societies and in high political authoritative circles. So that at this time of year, like it was during when we were in slavery, the authoritative priests and priestesses who were set up in high positions must give gifts and rest to their servants for this time of year in reverence to the gods. That's why your boss is nice this time of year. They give you an extra check or a bonus, because that's what they do in reverence to that ritual this time of year. And that particular spirit trickles down throughout all of society. You got extra money, you feel good. You're saying hi to everyone. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Merry Christmas. Hi. Oh, getting a day off, getting an extra day off. But then we began, Elder Lawyer, to examine the people who founded New York, who's supposed to be of the Torah, who's supposed to be following the God of Israel as they claim. Right? But check this out. But check this out here. But check this out. Where is Chrome here? There it is. Let me pull it up here. Let me get it here. Safari. Let me pull this up. I'm going to share this for y'all real quick. All right. Where is it? Where is it here? That's in Chrome. Let me get it. On your screen here. Now, of course, I can't play this, because if I played it, I would get a copyright strike altogether if I played it over 10 seconds. But the people who erected the Statue of Liberty began to create an environment of propaganda to have all the families in America begin to hold this as a new tradition in America that eventually the world would follow. And the people that were set up here weren't the authority of the Torah at all. They were following the Babylonian Talmud. Well, the Babylonian Talmud is really the authoritative spirit that's pushing Babylonian customs, and that's why these particulars make more money this time of year than any other time of year, because they are the authority over Christmas. They sold Christmas, packaged Christmas, and through that, Christians begin to follow suit. Selling cartoons to our children of Christmas, starring Cecil B. DeMille. Cecil B. DeMille, who made the Ten Commandments, starring Charlton Heston. Starring Charlton Heston, began to push this propaganda in America. People who at the core don't even believe in Christ began to sell Christmas, and Christmas was sold in the early 30s and 40s and all that by Hollywood. Silent Night, Holy Night, Bing Crosby, not only Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, on and on and on, the Black and White, Elvis. They started selling Christmas as a brand through Hollywood. The same people who claim to follow the Torah, who know what it says in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. Right? And check it out. Check out how they sold it. Not just to Black America, they sold it to all of America. Round yon virgin, mother and child. Round yon virgin, mother and child. You heard that? You heard? Silent night, holy night. All is calm, all is bright. The bright star, Lucifer. Look behind him, there's a star. Round yon virgin, mother and child. But the mother and child they're talking about is Babylonian. Semiramis, Nimrod, incarnate as Tammuz. This is going to blow y'all away, brothers and sisters. On the screen, if y'all read this on the screen, let me make it bigger for you here. Let me make it a little bigger. Now, right there, right there. This is the god and goddesses who are worshipped in Yoruba, which is what you would call African spiritualism. Right? The pagan Africans, it says here. Now, mind you, a couple of weeks ago, Elder Lawyer, Elder Gaja, and myself pulled it out in that book about the Jesuits. And I need you to talk about this in a second, Elder Gaja. How the Jesuits are privately upholding and worshiping the Queen Mother of Heaven, the Virgin Madonna. Has nothing to do with Mary. Their real religion is to uphold that goddess, Semiramis, who's now the Statue of Liberty, who brought forth a child without a father who became a demigod worshipped in ancient Babylon. Let me read this for you real quick. When you see the middle, it says Yamoja is associated with the Virgin Mary and Isis. The most beloved Orisha, their Orisha is a god or a lesser god. She is the goddess of the ocean, and the moon, the crescent moon in Islam, she's worshipped too. Goddess of the ocean and the moon, guardian of women and childbirth. Fertility, that's why you have your bunny who lay eggs, fertility, and witchcraft. She rules the subconscious. That's why people don't even know why they actually subconsciously feel good during this time of year. She rules the subconscious and creative endeavors. Her colors are blue and white. She is a special intercessor for mothers and gay men. That's why at the very end of our society, it's women liberation and the letters being celebrated. She's the, listen again, she's the intercessor for mothers and gay men. Simjaza, the leader of the rebel sons of heaven, and it goes into the gods that are connected with the Queen Mother of Heaven, Lady Liberty. Okay? And then under it, it's Oshun, rule the sweet waters, rivers, brooks, and streams. She is the goddess of love and passion and sensuality. Her colors are yellow and gold. And her preferred offering is honey. She is most often associated with Saint Cecilia. So the Catholic Saint Cecilia, when you burn a candle to these saints, you're burning them to gods and goddesses, leading back to the mother of fertility. That's right, folks. That's right. You're getting it here first. You're getting it here first. Do y'all see that? Do everyone see that? Everybody going, man, wow, boy. Huh? So who's really being celebrated here? Huh? They packaged it, and it's in our subconscious. It's in our subconscious. They let you off this time of year as what? As a reward for serving the masters for the rest of the year. So I would rather be treated nicely for the 3/4 of the year, and you can take your few weeks. You can take your few weeks. Treat me right the rest of the year. Let me off. Give me extra bonuses. Do everything you're doing right now for the rest of the year instead of this time of year. Huh? Let's go into the disciples real quick. And I'm going to tell you, folks, you see those names that were connected to Oshun and all the others? Those were the fallen gods who led mankind to hell before the flood during the time of Methuselah, Enoch, Noah. That's the information we're going into this Sunday. So when you hear about that African spiritualism of Oshun and all that, that's why the powers that be allow others to worship all that African spiritualism in Yoruba. Because why? The European powers are really the authority over those witch doctors. Your rabbis in the synagogues got more power than those that are dealing with the Orishas and Yoruba and all that. Okay? They're the overlords of the lesser craftsmen and women. The real magic, folks, happened in their temples. The Capitol, the White House, the Lincoln Memorial, the memorials, the Washington Memorial, which are nothing but Babylonian obelisks. The Masonic temples. That's where the real magic is happening at. And they break out of their witchcraft and out of their seances and spells and all that they do in secret societies. And then they break out and put on a suit and become the CEO and manager of your corporation. Or become the leader or priest of your church. What you got, Elder Lawyer? Let's go.
Yes, sir. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse number 20.
What did the disciples say? Read.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils.
1 second. Go ahead.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God.
And not to God. Go on.
And I would not that you should have fellowship with devils. Ye cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
You cannot do what?
Ye cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
Grab that for me, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
And put that on that side there. Read it again.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils.
The things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to demons. Learn not the way of the heathen. So it seems that the disciples were teaching the same teachings of the prophets of old. Heathen are the customs of the heathens are vain, like it says in Jeremiah 10. So the disciples were teaching, learn not the way of the Gentiles, the heathen. Read.
The things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God.
And not to God.
And I would not that you should have fellowship with devils.
And I would not that you should have fellowship with devils, demons. Read.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
You can't be down with the Most High, but yet participate in Babylonian paganism. Be the hot or cold. Choose this day which God you'll follow. Now, what our brothers and sisters did in ignorance, the Most High will wink at. What I found is you can have this same feeling continually from one Sabbath to the next. And instead of dealing with it this time of year, these days, if you want to give gifts, do it on Purim, which is in February, the real holy day that God gave his people. Now, the people who are claiming to hold the Torah, claiming that they're following the Feast of Lights this time of year, no. They strategically set up their holy day during the same Babylonian time so that they can have a Babylonian Christmas, an ancient Babylonian Christmas, like it was done during the time of Jeremiah. While the lesser pagans do it at a different time under Saturnalia, giving them the authority over this whole time of year. That Feast of Lights that's going on right now is not the Feast of Lights according to the Bible, because it's not the time according to the 364-day schedule. Their time is strategically added or close to Christmas so that they can just celebrate Semiramis and Nimrod and all that. The same time, the lesser servants are actually celebrating it. Huh? Now, I have more. You know I do. Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Revelation 18.
Revelation chapter 18, verse number 1.
Come on.
And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory.
Come on.
And he cried mightily with a loud voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen.
Babylon the Great is fallen. It's fallen.
And it's become the habitation of devils.
It has become the habitation of devils. The temples, the Masonic temples they have set up, the government temples they set up, were to do what? To make rituals to hold and control spirits in this realm. This whole place had become the habitation of devils because why? Warlocks, witches, sorcerers, and astrologers, pagans who honor this time of year have been placed over the Babylonian world. That's why the people are mad. You're talking about a time in which it's mental health and people are dealing with mental health issues. Well, guess what? If the head's sick, eventually the rest of the people get sick. The mental illness is because no one is coming back to the Creator. See? Read.
And the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Every unclean and hateful bird is involved. I'm talking about it at the pinnacle of authority at this time. Read.
Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
All nations. Because everybody, you wonder why even you see someone Chinese, you walk up, Merry Christmas. Mm-hmm. East Indian, oh, Merry Christmas. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what race, because they were all celebrating the same celebration at the Tower of Babel before the tongues were split. There's some form of virgin deity that was worshipped throughout all of the world's society because she was worshipped as Semiramis in ancient times. They just used Christ in Mary's name. Christ and Mary's story has nothing to do with this. Mary was an Israelite woman. She was with an Israelite man and brought forth an Israelite child by the name of Christ. And Christ said, I came not down to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. The God of the Old Testament sent me. See? Read.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Come on.
And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Come on.
Verse number 4.
And the whole earth to become rich through what? Her delicacies. That's why all nations have come here to take advantage of this new Christmas, this newfound time. Because why? It tells us in Revelation that all the nations gathered together to do what? Send gifts one another for doing what? Conquering the children of Israel. They're able to give gifts to each other because God's people are impoverished, in captivity, serving them. So all the nations come to America to take their part in the voluptuousness of the great harlot, the Virgin Mother, the Statue of Liberty. She's an idol. And every time we deal with these days, we're honoring that goddess. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. You look at Cecil B. DeMille, who was behind a lot of those productions in the 40s, 50s, 10 Commandments and all that. When you look at his religion, they don't even believe in Christ. Cecil B. DeMille went to the synagogues. He didn't even believe in Christ. Y'all better wake up, man. Come on.
Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people.
That voice is our God. This is why they're looking to demonize those who are following this truth. Because what? Christmas and the holy days that are being worshiped now aren't the same as it was when we were in ignorance, as the servants upholding this society. So the Most High is telling us, come out of her, my people. So the authoritative powers who have been worshiping the lesser gods and the fallen gods are saying, we're going to shut everything down and make sure everyone reverence you this time of year. That's the authority giving references to their God now. Their gods. Those Israelites are waking people up. They're not serving Satan. Let me tell you, you wouldn't believe some of the airy, wicked darkness that goes on in their ceremonies and rituals, folks. Where they conjure in spirits and talk to spirits. And you know, those spirits are telling them, it's those people on those streets. There's those people that are waking people up. the people, the nations aren't serving us anymore. The God of Israel is waking up these poor people. And if they don't serve me, I'm going to begin to take power from you. That's how it works, folks. So what happens? Eventually, these spirits that have always ruled your politicians and the authority powers will say, we require sacrifices. Okay? If the people won't serve me, more people must die. That's how it works. More people come up missing. Child trafficking, harvesting, more wars, all of that because people are no longer serving their gods. So the less spiritual resources they get from people, they demand sacrifices. I'm dropping it for you right now, folks. What's really going on? That's what really goes on in these secret circles. The people not serving me, they waking people up. Your preachers ain't doing the job and keeping them serving me. Guess what? We're going to need blood up in here. Somebody going to serve me. That's why I'd rather be doing this right now than operating right now in the spirit of so-called Christmas. I'd rather be doing what I'm doing right now. Not giving Satan, not giving none of them any of my life source. Even my mother wanted to come over and say, listen, ain't nobody doing nothing anyway. People are off. My mother said, well, let me come over and just cook for you. I know you don't celebrate, but let me cook for you. And I thought about it. I'm like, I don't celebrate it, you know. I'm like, yeah, I ain't had my mama's food in a long time. And I say, you know what? I'm going to be teaching Wednesday, Mom. But you can come over Friday before sundown and throw down. Throw down for me before the sun go down Friday, Mama. Bring your sweet potato pies or whatever, but I'm not giving this day none of me outside of taking a brick out of it, out of this tower. She's like, okay, the food gonna taste the same a few days from now. Mm-hmm. Come on.
Come out of her, my people.
Come out of her, my people.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
And that you receive not of her plague. She'll get judged for redirecting the love and the spirit and the respect we have for our people. For all that spirit being redirected back to ancient Babylon, back to Semiramis, the Queen Mother of Heaven. And guess what? It's misdirected in the Christian church because the pagan church have been worshiping the Virgin Mother, which they know is really Semiramis, have nothing to do with Mary. Have nothing to do with Mary and Christ. They know it. Come on.
Verse 5. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities.
And the Most High have remembered her sins. Come on.
Reward her even as she has rewarded you.
So this place for setting up and packaging and propagandizing Babylon and making it a merchandise through Hollywood and TV. Because through that propaganda, they sucked our people into it. Made us believe we were serving God in Christ and began to redirect all of our love and passion we have for God towards the Babylonian gods and goddesses. Just sucking the spirit out of the room. All that worship we do on Sunday, all that worship we do on Christmas, all that worship we do on Easter is being redirected. And the Most High is sitting there in the heavens where the angels are celebrating on Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, memorial blowing of the trumpets. He's up there in heaven. The angels are right on point with it. And we just going about our regular day on earth, not even realizing we're not aiming none of that righteousness and that praise towards him. Check that out. Right now, the angels and the Most High is sitting there December 25th looking down. There's no celebration going on up there right now. And he's looking down on earth and looking at all these people, honoring and respecting a God, a power he hurled from the heavens for disobedience. They're serving Lucifer down there. What's going on down there? How is he getting all my energy? What's going on with you pastors and priests who have studied the word? Let me show you what's up with them. Get me Amos, the 5th chapter, and Isaiah, the 1st chapter, and then I'm opening up the lines now.
Amos chapter 5, verse number, I'll start at verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord.
Woe for you that desire the day of the Lord, claiming you can't wait for Christ to come back. Read.
To what end is it for you?
For what end is it for you?
The day of the Lord is darkness and not light.
The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. When he come, it's not going to be what you think it is, followers of so-called Christians. It's not going to be what you think it is. And guess what? Believe it or not, there's more respect goes to pagans. More respect goes to wizards and warlocks and astrologers. Why? Because at least they chose a side and not trying to use Christ to deceive people into following what they're following. At least they know what the tree means. At least they know what the spring solstice is. They know what the winter solstice is. At least they're not trying to deceive people into believing Christ has something to do with it or the God of the Bible has something to do with it. You have to give more respect to them because at least they're standing on the fallen gods they worship. Read.
Verse 21. I despise your feast days.
And that's why the Most High God told us in the Old Testament, he hate and despise our feast days. Because why? In the Old Testament, we began to go away from that 364-day Sabbath calendar. And we began to set up holy days like they're doing under the Babylonian Talmudist worships today. We would call it Passover, but it would fall in the same time as the winter solstice for the Talmud's child to be worshiped. And that's who they're really worshiping, those other people. They're really worshiping the sun Talmuz, claiming they following the Torah. It's a lie. They're not following the Torah, folks. They're following the sun Talmuz. They're not following Christ. They're not following the truth of the Bible. And that's why the Most High said what?
I despise your feast days.
I don't like your feast days because it have nothing to do with me. How is it you claiming that you're going to follow a day in which my son was born and not seek me at all? Not even seek the days I've established before I sent my son. My son will be crucified on the Passover. So how do you know my son when you're not following the Passover? But yet you will honor Christmas, a pagan Babylonian day, a day in which Nimrod was worshipped in ancient Babylon. You will honor that day over the Passover. Read on.
Verse 22. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings.
Your meat offerings is the fat beast you kill and pray over. Though you offer me those meat offerings,
I will not accept them.
I will not accept them. Those offerings and those prayers and all that, it's vain. Same as that tree. You can pray over it, but all your energy is going to the fallen one. You mean well, but your pastor should know better. He should tell you its pagan origin and then give you a choice whether or not to enter into his congregation going forward. Not know he's the reason for the season. I know what it was, but I'm going to change it. How can you change what God said was wrong? The Bible tells you in Isaiah 5:20, woe to them that make good, that say good is evil and make evil good. Woe to them that makes good evil and evil good. How can you make right what God said is wrong? There's a punishment for that. Jesus is the reason for the season. And the overlords that are really controlling you, those in the synagogue that are really sending you the pamphlets to teach like sheep in your congregation, is laughing because they know exactly what it is. They know exactly what it is. They're laughing at you. I can pray. I know it's wrong, but I'm sanctifying it. I'm going, who's you? Who are you to sanctify? How can you cleanse what God made wrong? Yeah. This is nothing but, okay, this is nothing but cow manure I'm seeing here. You know, I put some hot sauce on it and pray over it, because I'm going to sanctify this bowl of chitlins. This is pig feces here, but I'm going to sanctify this. This is ham here, but I'm going to sanctify it. Huh? You're responsible as a priest of the Most High for turning the hearts of the sinners back to the Father. That's your responsibility as a priest. Not to just fill your pews. You're responsible for bringing the hearts and minds of the people back to the God who made us. Back to the original holy days. Back to the original Sabbaths. That's why he said, come out of her, my people. There will be a rendition. A judgment is coming. The Gentiles are going to do what the Gentiles do. They're going to all celebrate together this time of year. They're going to all celebrate together, but our God is going to throw down eventually. And only those who are under God's protection will make it through this. Finish reading, because I want to wrap it up here. Come on.
Yes, sir. Verse 23, take thou away from me the noise of thy songs.
Take away from me the noise of thy songs. Deck the halls with bells of holly. Fa la 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 la. You singing that upstairs while children are being kidnapped and chained in your basements. Downstairs. Huh? You got the other girl, the Charlene, what's her name? Theron. Charlize Theron from South Africa. An actress who adopted two little boys from Africa and are raising these two young children, boys, as little girls, as transgender girls. She's probably right now opening up gifts with little pink tutus and all that to put on these little black boys. In honor and reference of her god or goddesses that she serves and sacrifices to. Read on.
For I will not hear the melody of thy viols.
I will not hear the melody of their songs. You can sing all you want on this day. God said he's not hearing it. Read.
Verse 24. But let judgment run down as water, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
Come on.
Have you not offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? But you've borne the tabernacle of your Moloch and your Chayun, your images, the star.
So who is it?
But you've borne the tabernacle of your Moloch.
Of your Moloch. Moloch is associated with child sacrifice. Look up on your own. You can Google it right now. Moloch, cremation of care. Moloch, cremation of care. And this year is deeper than most years because now the Roman Empire is coming right out showing everyone that they are worshiping the God of sacrifice. Look at this real quick. Let me pull it up. For those of you who don't have the knowledge or haven't done this research, let me show you. Moloch in Rome, next to the Vatican. A statue of Moloch unveiled in Rome this year. They're coming right out letting you know that when you bring your child to that tree, that all that energy bowing down is it's like bringing your child under the fire of Moloch. Let me show you. Let me show you real quick here. Y'all think I'll be making this stuff up, huh? Think I'm making it up? It's right before you. A statue of Moloch unveiled in Rome along with controversy, and it comes from the Pagan News and Perspectives. They're not even hiding it anymore. They just unveiled the god of Moloch, who is what? The god of human sacrifice. In Rome right now, next to the Vatican. You want to know why children are molested and killed and all that and child sex? Because all of it are rituals to this God. It's rituals to this God. Now, if they unveiled it, where was it before they unveiled it? In some room somewhere for child sacrifice. For this time of year, folks. The all-seeing eye in the middle of it. Knowing that your Masons and secret societies and all that really honor Moloch. Huh? They didn't expect us to drop some of this information here. Somebody have to tell you. Your preacher sure won't. Someone have to tell you. Someone have to tell you, right? That's who you're really dealing with for this time of year, folks. And that's why they aimed all of this time of year towards children. Because it's really doing what? Snatching the hearts of your children and redirecting it to Satan. And child sacrifice. If they begin to honor and respect it, eventually their spirit will be led away from you without a hedge, in which Satan can snatch them in the world. That's why the Bible says, train up a child the way he shall go, and when they're of age, they shall not depart from it. When you train up a child with this word, with the Bible, you're keeping them under God's hedge. If you're teaching them fallacies and mythology and witchcraft and Babylonian customs, eventually they're going to move from up under that hedge to be snatched by Moloch. And the authority knows this. Huh? Come on, other lawyer, come on.
Yes, sir. Verse number 27. Therefore I will cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, saith the Lord, whose name is the God of hosts.
Come on.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse number 10.
Come on.
Hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our God, ye people of Gomorrah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices?
Why are you sacrificing unto me? What are you really doing? 515-605-9327 if you would like to come in. Come on.
To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith the Lord? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams, the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks, or of lambs, or of the goats. When ye come to me, appear before me. Who have required this at your hand?
God is saying in the Bible, who told you to bring your celebrations and your food and song to me on this day, at this time of year? Have you checked me first? Have you checked the Bible first? Or have you followed the traditions of men? Huh? What are you doing? You're fronting. You got a Bible in front of you with my instructions teaching people what? If you can't verify or give any credibility to that day from out of the Bible, you shouldn't be following it at all. And any pastor who would teach otherwise is an antichrist. Read.
Verse number 13. Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moon and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Your new moon and your appointed feasts my soul hateth. They are trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when ye make many prayers, when ye make many prayers, I will not hear.
So if you don't acknowledge me, I will not acknowledge you. You wonder why your prayers aren't being answered? Because you're serving the wrong God. When you make many prayers, I will not hear it. Because who are you praying to? I told you not to learn the way of the heathen. I directed you to follow my son, Christ. He's the path. And Christ followed the Sabbath. Christ followed the holy days. Christ followed the Father, the God of the Old Testament. 515-605-9327. Only 16 minutes of stream left for the broadcast, but let me bring some people in. I think we've said more than a mouthful right now. Oh yeah, a lot of people didn't know that. I'm going to show you that one more time too, folks. Number one, let me show you those pictures here real quick. That's how you know it's a deep time right now, because the Romans are no longer hiding who they worship. Moloch. It was erected this year in Rome. It was erected this year in Rome. A statue of Moloch unveiled in Rome with controversy. There you go. Children are burned to this god behind closed doors. This is why they vacillate and shoot up your child and sacrifice them to Moloch, scramble their brains. They hate children. More. Here's the guy who belonged to a synagogue who started pushing Christmas through Hollywood, Cecil B. DeMille. Right? Here's another one for those who missed it. Here's the goddess that's really worshipped during this time of year. Yemaya, or Yemoja, is associated with the Virgin Mary and Isis. The most beloved Orisha, she is the goddess of the ocean and the moon, guardian of women and childbirth, fertility, the goddess of fertility, and witchcraft. She rules the subconscious and creative endeavors. Colors are blue and white for this. She is a special intercessor for mothers and gay men. Semjaza, the leader of the rebel sons of heaven, is in relation to this particular goddess. And you can find that also written in the book of Enoch, the gods and goddesses that are bound in hell, who are now being worshiped by the powers that be. Hey, you want to know the gods and goddesses of Christmas? You found them. And when you see people worshiping African spiritualism in Yoruba, they're only worshiping the old gods that fell before the flood. And I got that proof. So when you see people like Umar Johnson and all that hanging out in graveyards, talking about the Orisha, the Oshun, these are just fallen gods. The original pagan worships of Babylon. So we're toppling the whole thing, not just what the Europeans are doing, but also these so-called Africans in Yoruba. They're worshiping the Queen Mother of Heaven in African worships and sacrificing children to them. And guess what? Both of them, whether they be black or white, are now celebrating Christmas. Elder Gadget.
Yes, sir.
515-605-9327. I'll give you the floor for a couple of minutes, and I'm opening up the phones. 515-605-9327.
I think you said you said it all, Elder man. I was funny because I had Amos 5 and Isaiah 1 ready to go, and then I hear you call for it. So I'm like, hey, must be the Spirit. So, you know, praise the Most High, man. We just need to burn on this time. Well, sorry, I mean shed some light, excuse me, on this time of the year, and let people know exactly what it is that they're dealing with, because it's satanic. And also, you know, I was looking through the chats before, and you know, you see the haters there, but haters, you know, there's a button there for you to press as well. Unfortunately, it's not a flush button, but you can still go ahead and hit that button. It still generates traffic and interest, right? But check this, Elder.
Well, let me say this. You know what? I'm going to let you go, but if they hate us, we know that they hated Christ first.
That's right.
You right? We welcome you and pray for you. That's all we do. We welcome you and pray for you. Okay? Because at our God, Ahia, will have the last word at the end of the day. So we welcome the hate. Come on, bring it. If they hate us, wait, they hated our Savior first. You hate us? You hate us? We love you.
100, man.
Now, so what are you going to do with that? But go ahead, and Elder Lawyer, I need you to bring out and give me that book real quick, Elder Lawyer. I'm going to let you go next in a second. You know, we went and got all of their information. Catechism of the Catholic Church. Catechism of the Catholic Church. So we know what the churches are pushing, right? Because what we did was we went and got all their research so that we can totally rip that apologetic garbage apart with their own information. Because now it's an onslaught. The apologetics now are aimed towards the urban community because they feel that the black pastors have let them down now because black people, we're leaving the churches now. So now the serpents are actually slithering out of their little conclave, the little wormholes, to try to come into our neighborhoods and try to push an urban agenda to put our people back into a comatose state. But it's not going to happen. We have their information now.
I mean, you know, let's be real. These aren't apologetics, man. These are Jesuits.
They're demons. Come on.
The apologists defended the faith. You know, we are the apologists. We are
exactly
the real apologists, defending the gospel, defending the truth of Christ. These people are Jesuits. This is the Society of Jesus right now with an agenda coming after God's people. Why? Because we are awakening.
Exactly.
Right now, millions of us are worldwide. Millions of us are awake. Millions of us are not celebrating December 25th, not dealing with anything with Saturnalia, Christmas, whatever they want to call it. We're not dealing with it no more.
Exactly.
And that's the big issue. That's the big issue going on right now. So listen, while they're gathering the valley of Jehoshaphat, getting ready for slaughter, we are going to be gathering and waking up the people. And that's where we at right now. Just look at it. People, right now you see all sorts of things going on with the Middle East, things going on within Babylon itself. And that the Most High is pulling all that together to destroy it and bring forth this new kingdom. And that's where we are right now in prophecy. And people need to really look at it. We see, you know, when you go into the book of, not coming off of the part, but when you go into the book of Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, it tells he's going to put prong hooks in them jaws and pull them in. This is your Japhetic nations who need to go to war to protect the interest. Because I think right now, Elder, that Japhet thinks he's next.
Talking about the Chinese.
Yeah, he thinks he's next.
They going down. They going down in the ball of flames. That's who this Babylon is dealt with. But we'll deal with that in the academy in the judgment of the nations. Get in that academy, folks. I'm gonna tell you right now. Matter of fact, before you finish talking to Elder Gadja, pass me my bag real quick with all my books up in it. Pass my bag. I gotta show them something. But go ahead, Gadja. I'm gonna show them something real quick.
So this is where we at right now, brothers and sisters. That listen. This is a great time of the awakening because the prophets spoke about this time. Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezra, they spoke about the time that we're witnessing right now.
Okay, go.
This awakening, the fall of the kingdom.
Hey, guys, let me show you real quick. In the academy, I told everyone a long time ago that Yahweh was Zeus and Jupiter.
Gone.
I'm going to go through them real quick. Once we fell, hold up. Once we fell as a people, they took the Jupiter statue out of the pagan church and put it in the Vatican. Yahweh is Zeus. Zeus is Jesus, and it's Jupiter. The Romans, it's Jovi. Here's a picture of the original head right here. Hold up. The Roman Empire of the Edomite, 1853. Hebrewism in West Africa, the places we scattered after falling to the Romans in 70 AD. Where did we go in Africa? Speaking of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. The witch's god. When you go in here, the gods and goddesses, like I've just pulled up, because this book referenced what I pulled up earlier, the real gods and goddesses that the pagans are worshiping for December 25th, their chief god is Yahweh or Jehovah, the witch's god.
Gone.
It's to a degree where they're not even hiding their information anymore. Folks, I got all those books and more. Church history. All of it. Let me tell you, I'm emptying the spiritual clip this academy. Every book I have is coming out.
That's right.
I'm emptying the spiritual clip. You don't got to worry about no physical fire, because the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal. Oh my God, there's an Israelite who came and he shot up a cheese shop. They don't care. That's total garbage. This is the ammunition they fear. You know what ammunition they fear? They fear this ammunition right here. This Bible. And guess what? Like I told you, give me my bag. Brothers and sisters, if y'all not in this academy, you are missing out. You ask anybody that was just in that first week, the creation of the universe, ask them what was that more information they ever learned in their life. And we just went primarily on the celestial realm, how all things was made, angels, everything. HistoryTimes.org, gatheringofchrist.org, get in. Gathering is one at AOL.com. But go ahead, Elder Gaja. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, Loman. I mean, yeah, listen, so, you know, this is where we at right now. We're in the end times.
Yeah.
And like I said, millions of people right now around the earth right now walking out away from Christmas. And I tell you what, I see a lot of mainstream pastors right now telling the congregation that Christmas is pagan. So hey, praises to the Most High. And listen, the Most High put a spirit on the children of Israel, on his servants, to sound the alarm and blow the trumpet. And right now we see even, you know, Sunday pastors taking and adapt to it. I had a speaking recently, and I said at the speaking, listen, a lot of the works that you see we're doing right now isn't necessarily to fill up a church or fill up a building with people. A lot of it is witnessing to the people, witnessing to the nations. You with me? Because the Bible says time and chance happen to every man. So we out there speaking to the wind. You never know. Someone is getting his time and his chance. When you go before the Most High, you have no excuse. None. Because why? Yeah, we told you that the teachers were out there in the streets. You with me? The internet has now become a global thing where everybody can see it. Listen, your time and chance is happening. So a lot of the work, you know, and this is for the brothers and sisters as well. Listen, when you're out there preaching or you're giving the word, not everybody is going to hear it or receive it. Some will hear, some will forbear. But don't stop. Keep bringing it. Because like I said, a lot of it is a witness to everybody else. You with me? But that's it, man. I yield. Big show, Elder. Big show this evening. And people hit the like button, man, and spread it. Spread it and share it on all your social media platforms and get the word out. You with me? And oh yeah, don't miss this Monday coming up for the Did You Know? I got something special for for the audience this Monday.
Man, that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Yeah, man.
And don't put it out there right now. You're doing a great job with those segments. I mean, I'll be looking forward to them myself. Great little tidbits you be putting out there in a short amount of time to free our nation. Thank you, my brother. All right, 515-605-9327. If you want to get in, we only have 2 minutes and 35 seconds before the lines close. 2 minutes and 30 seconds before the line close. 515-605-9327. We're just going into, and we showed you today, the gods of Christmas. Now choose today, right now, which gods or which God you will serve. The God of the Bible isn't down for this time of year, folks. He's pulling his people out of it. And a sure example or proof of those that are coming out of it is when they leave the pagan days and begin to follow what's in the Bible itself. That's a small remnant that are hedged by Christ's blood. Okay? 515-605-9327. I need you to read that out of the Catechism of Christmas real quick so that we're going to give it equal information before we open the lines. What does it say Christmas is in their records, Elder Lawyer?
Well, they just have a
90
brief
seconds.
mentioning of something called the Christmas mystery. And
Here's the Christmas mystery. Come on.
I'll read something after this to kind of give some context. It says here, the Christmas mystery, this is Catechism 525. And if I can explain real quick, basically what this is this is a list of the different official point of views of the Catholic Church on different aspects of doctrine. So this is not, someone giving their opinion. This is what they believe officially in this particular record. So this is page 147. It
60
says,
seconds.
Jesus was born in a humble stable into a poor family. Simple shepherds were the first witnesses to this event. In this poverty, heaven's glory was made manifested. The church never tires of singing the glory of this night. The Virgin today, this is the song, into the world of the eternal.
See,
and the earth,
and the acknowledgement of the Virgin.
and the earth offers a cave to the inaccessible. The angels and shepherds praise him, and the Magi advance with the star. For you are born for us.
And the Magi. Do what?
Advance with the star.
Advance with the star.
For you are born with us, or for you are born for us, little child, God eternal. To become a child
10
in relation to
seconds.
God, in the condition for entering the kingdom. For this we must humble ourselves and become little children. Even more, to become children of God, we must be born from above, or born of God. Only when Christ is formed in us will the mystery of Christmas be fulfilled in us.
So the mystery of Christmas is now formed in you if you acknowledge this time is what they're telling you. The acknowledgement of the virgin goddess Semiramis, but they say it's Mary. But notice they didn't even say a name at all right here. They just said the virgin, knowing that that virgin is the queen mother of Babylon. Come on.
It says Christmas is the mystery of this marvelous change. Now, of course, in the Bible, they don't make any reference of Christmas equating to you becoming a child of God. There's no equation to that in the Bible.
But that's what Catholics believe. You are a child of God only if you acknowledge the pagan Christmas. And that's in their record. Go on.
And one thing from the Zondervan Bible Dictionary under Christmas, getting straight to the point, it says the first mention of its observance on December 25th is in the time of Constantine at 325 AD. The birth of Christ, or the birth of Christ is not known, or the date of the birth of Christ is not known.
Go on.
The word Christmas is formed of Christ and Mass, meaning a mass religious service in the commemoration of the birth of Christ. Whether the early Christians thought of or observed Christmas is not clear.
It is clear because Polycarp wrote against paganism. But go ahead.
Once introduced, the observance spread through Christendom. Some Christian bodies disapprove of the festival. Many customs of pagan origin have become part of Christmas. The Christmas tree, or for example, the Christmas tree, but most of these no longer have a heathen connotation. So again, they admit that these things are pagan, but now they are stating that they no longer have a heathen connotation, but
Yeah.
they've taken on a Christian
Yeah.
veneer.
At once it was a heathen connotation. It says no longer does it has a heathen connotation.
Right.
Why? Because it was packaged in the new world to be as something to be accepted by those who believe in God or Christ. It was rebranded. But God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He didn't change his view on paganism and idolatry. Come on.
It says here, for example, here's an example. The Christmas tree points upward to God and reminds us of his gifts.
Hold up, the Christmas tree. Now, hold up. This is what they said. The Christmas tree points us up to God, and what?
It says something about a commemoration of Christ, some garbage.
What scripture is that? 515-605-9327. Let's go in. 254 area code. Make sure I'm not playing in the background. 219. This is the stuff they be telling people in their church. They be like, well, okay, that makes sense. No. Ask your pastor, what scripture is that? 254 area code. 219 area code, bringing you in. 662 area code, bringing you in. 917 area code, bringing you in. 561 area code, going all the way down. Let's start at the 254 area code.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom, how are you?
I'm great today. How are you?
I'm blessed by the best.
All things to all men.
Good, that's good.
That's good. I'm blessed by the best. His name is Ahia. I was just calling in because I enjoyed this broadcast today. I really needed it because I was being swallowed up by all of this paganism going on, and I'm just trying to hang in there. I just wanted to tell you guys that if it wasn't for you, I don't know where I would be today. I've been in 3 academies and looking forward to the 4th one.
Thank you,
That's
sister.
all
I
I
really
have for
appreciate
today,
it.
elders.
Were you in for last Sunday, the creation of the universe?
No, I have to wait till next month so I can get me some money, and I'm going to be in there, and I hope I can catch up.
Well, sister, just send us an email. We'll see what we can do to get you in, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
You
I'm
are.
Barbara Jackson.
Okay, just send an email, all right? Bless you. All right.
I sure will. Thank you.
I'm going to place
All
you on hold. I'm just place you on hold. You can stay on hold. 219 area code. We just went into some of the gods of Christmas.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, I got 2 quick questions. One was about the Ustream. I was wondering, do I have to look you guys up and subscribe? Because I'm in the academy now, but I just didn't know if that's what I had to do.
No. Well,
And
no.
the next question.
Well, let
go
me
ahead, I'm
deal
sorry.
with that first. First of all, you would make yourself a
Okay.
Ustream account. You can do that. It's absolutely free of
Okay.
charge. And then you will follow the directions. Just read the directions that the administration send to you. And if you read the directions, you should get in with no issue.
Oh, see, the problem with that was I was the guy that had emailed and sent it to the wrong email. And on that part, it says make a username, but I couldn't get the receipt to send it to you guys. It was like some code to put it in there, so I couldn't do it because I sent it to the wrong email.
Well, we already straightened out the email part. Keep in mind that you making yourself a Ustream account is separate from using the password or whatever we give you. That's totally 2 separate things.
Okay.
Because one can
I got that.
one can view the Ustream without having an account. You just won't be able to comment or interact in the chat. So there's 2 separate things.
Okay.
All right? Okay.
Okay.
Just read the directions and you'll be fine.
Okay. And my last question was, can you make a video about people who use guile? For those of us who are naive to people who out here finessing people.
Okay, yes, I can use. Like the whole thing is the Bible. Anything outside of the direction of the Bible is guile. Just like you got people out there, like you got black people claiming that the original religion was African spiritualism and is really Yoruba and witchcraft, which is paganism. They'll make you believe that ancient times we were dealing with ISIS and this. Nah, we went off following the heathen worshiping that. That's guile. Okay, you got the Christians, the Christian pastors who are teaching trickery by having people believe that Christ and Mary and God and the Bible have something to do with Christmas. That's trickery. That's guile.
Right.
So I'm doing it. We're doing it right now.
Oh, okay.
Because guile only means deception or trickery. That's all. Okay. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Elder.
You're welcome. And by the words of Johnny Cochran, if it don't fit, you must acquit. 662 area code.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom. You're live with the Gathering of Christ Church.
Just real quick. We're just truly blessed to be into this truth, and with our families not having an understanding. We are not saying that we're separating ourselves from our family, but we have two boys that we're trying to bring into the truth, and with them being at home and being around everybody else, and how I know how it can be, kind of distracting, and it will kind of give them shifty moods. But what we did was, and once again, not trying to separate ourselves from our families, because we love our families, but we want to establish the truth in my household with me, my wife, and my son. We just on the 19th, we packed up and we left and we came to Florida. We're not going back home until to the 2nd of January, which is next year, and we just want to just kind of bring the boys and just showing them that they could enjoy this time of year without bringing all the pagan holidays in it. We're just truly blessed. I mean, the academy is just blowing. It's just exploding our head once again, just like those gushers. It's unreal, which it is real, but it's just unreal to have this truth and to understand the truth and then to teach it to our boys so they can grow up in the truth. So when they bring along their families, that they will instill that in their family. So it's truly a blessing. My pastor, which once again, y'all know I'm a minister 9 years, but my pastor he's telling me that, at this time of the year, they're sacrificing kids, throwing them off in volcanoes, but he's still sending me texts about Merry Christmas and all I can say is just be blessed and not to just try to continue to just throw it back in his face, but we will talk again, hopefully. And we love y'all. We love GOCC. If it's anything that we could do, we're still supporting the word, even with the sister that came on that said she can't afford it. If it's any way that we can help her get into this academy, because I'm telling you, this academy, it should not be missed by any of our brothers and sisters. This is so important. At this time of the year, it's so important that they get this truth and get this understanding. Oh, it's needed.
Okay,
very
so I mean that's charitable of you. So you're saying that you're willing to sponsor that sister?
Man, yes.
Okay, all right, man. What a blessing. Hold on. Look at that. Thank you, brother.
We need this, brother. All our brothers and sisters, it's a need. It's not a want. It's truly a need for us to get this truth.
I wish we could have it where we could just open it up and everybody can just come in, but the log jam would be too much, and on top of that, it'll be uncontrollable to the degree where those that are against it would overrun it and destroy the chat and will try to stop it from actually progressing.
Truly.
But brother, thank you for that, and what a nice charitable thing to do. And you're doing it in the spirit of Christ, and you're doing something right on this day. without even dealing with it. And that's a real gift. Thank you, my brother.
But I'm telling you, when Purim comes, we are going to throw down.
Exactly.
Let's believe it.
That's right.
Purim, hey, when it's time for Purim, now you give your children that feeling of anticipation and the gifts, no tree or nothing around. Say, listen, here's the gifts, children. And they'll say, Dad, Mom, why am I getting gifts? Well, it's in respect of when the Gentile Persians and the Edomites tried to depopulate us during the time of Persia. Our God sent a beautiful sister by the name of Esther. And she was able to, under Mordecai, actually get with the king and find this conspiracy, point out those who was against our conspiracy, and the Most High beheaded the Edomite Haman, who was behind the depopulation agenda against us. And then we begin to send gifts to all of our provinces and family in respect of this memorial the Most High set up, saving us from the hand of the Gentile nations, and the same Gentile nations who now celebrate Christmas. See, now you have a reason for the season, Purim. Thank you, my brother.
My boy can't wait.
Thank you, brother.
Bless you.
Bless you. What a blessing. What a good brother. Praise the Most High. 917 area code.
Hey, Shalom, Albert. How you doing?
I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia.
Great. So let me just say that I saw the last episode that you did last year for Christmas, and I that was great. That was wonderful. And what you did this year with the more information, not that you didn't give information last year.
Just add into it, that's all.
Both of those together, ties into each other beautifully and perfectly.
Praise the Most High.
And it's really interesting because if one can look and think about just how much you spend in preparation for this day and trying to buy gifts, putting your lights on, that you're only feeding to whatever gas or electric company that you have. That is so much money that goes back to these corporations that doesn't necessarily need to be.
Good point.
And we are at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the wages as a community. So why is it that we're giving back our money and our resources to people that don't care about us? So that's a very serious issue.
Great point.
So, and it's even to the point so where everybody knows I don't celebrate the holidays. I celebrate holy days. Some people are like, well, what is that? And even my job just had a Christmas party, and I said I will not be going. And then one of my persons that I work with, they're like, no, well, just come, we can talk. And, she's a Christian, and I said, no, I consistently say that I do not celebrate Christmas. So if I was to come and just even have a conversation with you and just talk, that will go against everything that I believe in. And I have to stay true to myself. So when we take a stand for what is right, for what we know that is right, then you can have the conversation that will go a little something like this. She then further to say, well, you know what? I want to have a conversation with you. Let's do lunch because I want to hear what it is that you're about. So when you take that stand and really take a stand for the Most High, like this is what I'm about and this is what I will not splice,
that's the brother's going to sponsor.
then you would definitely be able to reach more people.
Well, thank you, sister. That is a good point. And guess what? Hey, you ought to be commended for standing up for what you believe in. Okay? And hopefully the Most High will allow that conversation of why you're not involved in it. Maybe he'll allow that conversation. Maybe that will lead to a greater conversation and to a point where they don't feel that you're being condescending or looking down on them. It's just that the debauchery of Saturnalia, you understand, and our people not understanding the spirit that drives it. One day you can explain what Saturnalia is, and Saturn is really Satan. And usually it's debauchery and the total wickedness going on this time of year. and say, listen, nothing against you. I care about you, and I thank you for inviting me. Okay, but I mean, there's other invites. I mean, you know, I'm open on any other time outside of Christmas to actually fellowship with you. So, hey, if there's a get together that's not on the Sabbath, count me in. All right. Thank you, sister. I really appreciate it. I thank the Most High, the lawyer, that the fact that many people are taking ownership of the Most High's word.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with following this elder or following that.
Right.
They're reading the Bible and getting understanding from God concerning the traditions of this world.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. So that's the part I love about it. And usually because they believe people are dumb or sheep, that automatically, if you begin to question certain things, you must be under some type of brainwashing, or you must be joining something. This is how they try to shame people into actually researching and finding truth. They'll look at you and be like, what's that? That sounds weird to me. What's that? They try to shame you by actually standing for what's right. And see, it's really an insult to our intelligence. Okay? We're supposed to go along with the rest of the world? Go along to get along? And if we don't, something is wrong with us? No. These people are taking full ownership, brothers and sisters, going into this Bible and making a conscious choice, and now rejecting the traditions of men and following the God of this Bible. So what's wrong with that? All these years you've been saying this world will be a better place if people follow the Bible. Now when we choose to follow the Bible, there's an issue.
You're taking the Bible too serious now.
Yeah, you're taking it too serious. What are you supposed to do? What do you believe?
Right.
That Bible thing you're taking too serious. All right, we're gonna go down. Okay, if you're on the line, you must hit 1 so I can pull you in. 270 area code. 270 area code.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom. Did you want to come in?
Khan.
Floor is yours.
This is Akitasiab. How are you doing today?
I'm blessed by the Most High. How are you?
Blessed. A couple of things I was looking at as we look at Leviticus, the first 4 verses. It talks about his holy days that he has set aside. And many times we look at Malachi 3:6, we look at Hebrews 13:8, but we don't read Ecclesiastes 3:14, which says he changed, whatever he does forever. And I was surprised when you pulled out the catechism because most people are not aware of it. In there, it talks about how the Pope put himself over a higher, or in place of a higher. And it also talks about how he changed the days, one of them being the Sabbath. And I just wanted to bring that out for people to pay attention to, I guess, in Leviticus 23, the 2nd and the 4th verse. Then look at Ecclesiastes 3:14, and it's water for all you do.
Well, thank you, my brother. Great point you've just brought out. I appreciate you. All right, let me go down the line for those. We're just going to go down the line, give you a few moments, and then it's a wrap for today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right? Okay, great. All right, let's go down the line here. 574 area code. Shalom.
How you doing, Elder?
I'm blessed by the Most High. Yes, I hear you well.
Man, absolutely. All praises. It's unbelievable coming into this truth, man, and how your family treats you, and especially today. I blocked a couple family members in the past month because we're a hate group, and
who's a hate group?
All this stuff. They look up Black Hebrew Israelites.
I'm saying, who's a hate group? What are you talking about?
No, that's what they say. They, in quotation marks, they say they look up Black Hebrew Israelites, and then all of a sudden I'm joined a cult and I'm a part of a hate group, and there's just no getting around.
I'm saying, but let me make it clear though. Never say that. Never. I understand what you're saying, but when you say we're a hate group, never say that, because what you have to realize, media, that's magic, and it's lesser magic they use. So they'll put things out there and we will begin to repeat it. That's part of their magic. Okay, you're saying that people
Absolutely,
yeah. No, never repeat their garbage. Okay, what you're saying is people who don't have the understanding to what this is are ignorantly following the media and believing what they hear on TV.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Go on.
And it's just it's unbelievable. Like one of my brothers said, this truth's coming straight from the Most High Himself. Like it's not like that's the reason why we're able to understand it and others aren't. Is because that spirit is renewing in us. He's waking up His people, and that's just beautiful to know that it's coming straight from Him. And it allows us as a body to continue to push forward, knowing that despite relatives, family, and I find family out of brothers that I don't even know, in this truth, and it's just beautiful.
Well, thank you, brother. And again, you have to watch, because the rabbis and all that, they are top wizards. And see, they use the media to program the subconscious. And eventually we begin to repeat what they say as if it's our idea, as if it came from us, which means your family members would have never said that if they didn't repeat something that was programmed in them. Okay? So we must be very careful.
I understand that.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'm just putting that out there. They want us to mimic that and say certain things like that, because it's telling them that the population is actually still under their influence or spell. Okay. Anything I have studied myself and really delved into or read about, I try not to make that part of any of my talking points as if it comes from me. I study. What I study, it comes within my being, and within the knowledge the Most High have given me, I begin to talk about or teach what I know. We have to watch, be careful, especially the sheep out there. Be careful you have totally studied something from every angle before taking it on. And never repeat or believe what you see on the news. Because if you're going to, then just believe that all blacks are normally perps, criminals, drug dealers, hustlers. All the women are only portrayed in a masculine or disrespectful manner, or altogether just someone to be used for the flesh. So if you're going to believe the media concerning you or what they said about Israelites, understand how they portraying you. Okay, so I don't even deal with that crap. How can anyone who have hung people, who have sold you on auction blocks, who have killed millions and millions of people, now label any people in this earth haters? That's weird. Are you kidding me? You have hung people, flogged people. You have sold us on auction blocks. You have separated families. You have come up with Planned Parenthood. You are the the minds behind eugenics and mass genocide. You're behind all the war in the earth, and now you're the experts that will sit up and determine in society what's hate. Our people need to wake up, folks. The same news that are saying that Israelites are a hate group and this, that, and the other told you that there was weapons of mass destruction and went to war and killed 6 million people in Iraq. Don't fall for their lesser magic. It's magic, folks. Don't believe what you see on TV. I don't believe it. I don't care what they show on TV. I don't believe none of it. Here it is. I'm sitting on TV looking at almost a 16K, 8K television where you can see a tick you know, you can see a tick on the back of an eagle flying. The screen is so clear. But the only thing you got is some grainy film of someone moving like this. Are you kidding me? I don't believe none of it. And I have the right to. I'm free to look at TV and not believe what they're telling me. 816 area code. Let's go.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom.
I just wanted to, Shalom, Sister Terry from Kansas City. Shout out to all Kansas City people. Anyway, I just wanted to bring up a point that I have not heard addressed yet as it pertains to Christmas. I was at the dentist's office yesterday, and, you know, they just had back-to-back Christmas music, right? The dentist couldn't hardly do my root canal because he was under a Christmas sale. He was singing every song that came along, and I was just praying, like, Lord, I hope he don't.
And the dentist?
I don't know why he's moving and swaying to the music.
Boy, I'm gonna tell you, and now you better be lucky. You better be lucky you ain't come out that piece looking like Leon Spinks. You know what I mean?
Oh, boy, say that. But what I noticed is, because I had a chance to lay there, you know, they had my undivided attention, of course, because he's working in my mouth. But I was actually listening to the words, right?
Okay.
And I said, you know what? There is absolutely no way that Christmas has anything to do with our God. There were so many songs that came on, like, All I Want for Christmas is My Baby, Santa Baby, All I Want is You. I said, there is a spirit of seduction and sexuality that comes along with that Christmas spirit that I said, oh, wow, I cannot believe once upon a time I was caught up in it too. And I was like, wow. I just thank the Most High for GLCC for opening up my eyes.
Well, thank you, sister.
Delivering me from my wicked ways.
Hey, sister, you okay? You weren't wicked. You were ignorant. There's a difference, all right? Okay.
Yes.
Hey, be careful, all right? We got to correct that. We so hard on ourselves. I'll say this, but don't be, sister. You okay? You in the right place now. I'm going to place you on hold.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, hold up. She went out. Okay, what you say, sister? I'm sorry about that.
No.
Sometimes I'm fast on the trigger.
No. I was just saying, oh, no, that's okay. I was just saying that I'm just so thankful that, you know, for GLCC and the Bible Academy, I've enrolled. This is my 13th one.
Thank you.
You guys are just getting better and better.
Thank you.
So
Praise the Most High.
Thank you again
for
making me so sharp. Iron sharpened iron.
Hey, sister, wait till you hear the lesson we have this Sabbath. I mean, this Sunday on the fall of the gods. It's going to trip you out. I got new information.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right.
All right.
All right, bless
thank
you.
you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, lawyer, you know, sometimes you turning through the radio, whatever the case is on this, you know, hang on the Christmas door. Hear that? I'm going to tell you, what gets me every time?
Yeah.
The Temptation, Silent Night.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they was going to sell it, you would have to sell it like that.
Exactly.
I mean, that man he started crooning. I remember my father used to croon that thing. I'm like, y'all not going to get me. Y'all not going to get me. So I kept on turning. And, you know, I snapped out of it.
Yeah.
Because I heard one that says, all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth. You heard that one? All I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth.
Yeah.
I snapped right off of that. I was good after that.
Right.
I'm like, it's a long cry from Temptations. When I heard that, I'm like, well, okay. And you notice that every world-renowned artist, that they must do a Christmas album. You notice that?
Yep.
Like that's a prerequisite. If you have influence, you have to do a Christmas album. Check that out. That's deep in itself. Put them under the spell. Well, you know, while somebody go kidnap some children or whatever in the spirit of Christmas and do what they're going to do like 12 midnight tonight. Folks, you don't even want to think about what they're doing at 12 midnight tonight. Okay, we'll leave that there. Let's go down the line here. We only have a few more calls. 816 area code. No, I did that. 786 area code.
Hey, Shalom, Elder.
Shalom.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm here in Southern California.
Yeah.
Just looking at where I'm at, and this, you could tell that the Christmas holiday is not the same without us participating in it. You see it dwindling.
I can tell, yeah.
Especially here, especially where I'm at in this part of California, Oceanside here. It's one of those things when you look at it, like you said, talking about how all the artists in the industry have to do a song. And you know it's something when they got Snoop Dogg to do a song, a Christmas song. So, to show you the level of the level they'll stoop to, and the people they'll use to put it out there. Even these same people that say, hey, they protecting their own kids, but they'll put it out there for the masses without any care, just saying, hey, yeah, we love our people, but here it is, they're doing these these songs about killing and pillaging and everything else you can think of. But all in all, I just wanted to say I appreciate everything that you all are doing, and just continue doing the work.
Thank you.
And may the Most High just keep that hedge of protection around us as we continue to just go through this little ailment here for a little moment. But thank you again. Shalom.
Bless you, brother. Bless you. Shalom. They even got Snoop Dogg with it.
Yeah.
Under the tree nizzle, huh?
Right.
What's next here? 917 area code.
Hi, Elder. How are you?
I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia. How are you?
Good. Calling from 917, of course, New York. So I was walking to the store, and I noticed, because today I spent all day in just prayer, catching up on knowledge, and kind of understanding like the birth of Christ, because that is like the one thing that's like bugging me. And I watched the video, so I know the latest one you dropped was about the history of the church manual, so that was very insightful. So you said something about the Yule and the Son of God, and it was mentioned in page like 299. So I'm walking to the store, and New York Post was on the cover, a slain cop's miracle taught and the Yule child, or something. They made connection. So it's like they're not even trying to hide it. It's not hidden. And it's like I'm dodging phone calls all day long of Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. And the number one thing is like my mom. And my mom is like, well, I don't care. This is God's birth, and this is his birthday. So if you don't choose to celebrate, this is just all about Christ and his birthday. And I just didn't have nothing for her. Like, I didn't know how to even, like, okay, Mom, Jeremiah 10, I know that one by heart, but it's like she's, like, ignoring the heathen part, ignoring the Jeremiah part, and just, like, she's so focused on Christ's birthday. So I'm like, okay, I'm digging, and I'm going to keep finding how to understand Christ's birthday, because I understand Passover is his death, but I just don't understand his birth. So that's still my my search. And if you could ever do a video on like the dates, like the chronological, because I don't understand BC, AD, centuries, like that stuff starts to confuse you. And
okay, are you in the academy?
I need to be, but I'm not.
Okay,
I definitely know I need to.
Okay, well, let me give you this real quick. BC is simple. That's before Christ. So just say if it was 50 years, just say if we're 50 BC. The next year after that, it would be 49 BC. It's ticking down like it do on New Year's Day, where you talk about 10, 9, 8, 7. It ticks down backwards up until Christ's birth, right? That's BC. So the numbers go down until it gets to Christ's birth, okay? Anno Domini, which is the day of our Lord, that's the years after Christ's birth. AD is after Christ's birth. But keep in mind, you're not in the academy. I'm going to drop this in the academy. They took like 7 or 8 years from Christ's birth. So you really cannot go by this time to get the exact time of Christ's birth. The Romans, who thought to change times and laws, did that on purpose, but we know the time according to the original calendar. Now, let me give you this. There's an express reason why you cannot identify Christ's birthday in the Bible. Do you know why?
No.
Because it wasn't supposed to get celebrated. Christ is the first begotten of the Father. He was created with the Most High made him in the beginning of creation, being the Alpha and Omega. So when he came into existence was in the beginning. So there was no need to make a birthday for him because he was the first spirit made in creation. So his date of birth wasn't supposed to be celebrated in the earth. His sacrifice on Passover is to be celebrated because it's his death that have done away with sin. It was his death to be celebrated, which happened like the Passover lamb in the book of Exodus. That Passover that covered sin that was put on the doorpost. So how do we celebrate Christ? Christ's death? The Passover. Got it?
Got it.
There you go.
Got it. How do Muslim children know to not celebrate? They can't even give a real reason as to why they don't celebrate Christmas. They just say religion reasons. They don't point to scriptures or facts or proof or books. They just don't celebrate it.
Well, sister, you have to realize Islam is nothing different than a Arabic Christianity. Okay? It's only through tradition. They ignorantly follow the traditions like Christians ignorantly follow the tradition. That's why there's no scriptural proof or backing behind their beliefs. Okay? So you can't make sense of nonsense. They're doing it because it's passed down to them. They're ignorantly following something taught to them by someone. Hosea 4:6 is why. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. All right?
Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Keep blessing.
You're welcome. Bless you, sister. All right, we only got a few more calls. 909 area code.
How you doing, Elder? Shalom.
I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia. Talk to me.
All right. About 8 years ago, I watched your video, and I was a robber, a jacker. I was the worst of the worst. And when I watched your video, it totally changed me. I started totally changing where it got to the point where I showed my brother your video. The first video I ever watched was Ready for War, years back. And I ain't been the same since. The first month, I couldn't even sleep because my dad's a pastor. My grandfather was the second pastor at Crenshaw Christian Center. At one point on the West Coast, it was the biggest church out here at one point. I totally went against the grain. And my father and the whole family we have a relationship, but we have no relationship. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So I could be talking to people, waking people up. He'll just pop out the blue and just say, hey, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's in a cult. And people are listening. It makes sense. So when my little brother tried to talk to him, he's like, well, it don't have to make sense. He's stuck on the grace doctrine, but it's really fake on the surface. So what he does now is, since me and my little brother don't go to church, he brings all the Edomites around to the house and all that other stuff, but won't bring me around because he's scared that I'm going to soil or make him look bad.
Hold on. You covered it. You covered a lot of ground. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes so you can really break down what you're saying here. All right. Now that's good that you're with the truth, but you have to be careful with how you walk with it. Okay. I'm going to say that. And if you've listened to our videos, I say that because 100%. I mean, you walking around with this Bible when you know what we know is, hey brother, you walking around with a spiritual assault weapon. Now,
100%.
All right. So let me just ask you this real quick. When you say your father, who's a pastor, who's now bringing Edomites around, what are you talking about? And what's wrong with him bringing Edomites around? What is that setting you're talking about that you feel a certain type of way about?
I don't have it. I don't have any. I was literally taught by you guys, so I don't have no hatred for the Edomites. I have no hatred at all.
No, I'm asking you a question. Listen what I'm saying to you. Listen what I'm saying to you. What do you mean he be bringing Edomites around? What is that setting? Because you spoke about it with a negative view.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Okay. No. What he did was he just replaced our family with other people amongst the church that he's following, because we initially came from Compton, was from primarily all black and Hispanic, which was fine. We have no issues with Gentiles. So now that he's moved into an area that we've been living in for about, for a while now, he just basically replaced us, and he's bringing in people that we've never even seen before, and it's like he's playing church. But he makes sure that I'm not around because he's afraid that I'm going to say something to try to soil what he has going on, because he's into the Joseph Prince, Grace Doctrine. So you can literally talk to them till they blue in the face and try to go over scriptures. They'll literally just shut you down. They could care less about what you have to say. They're more into the grace, Mother Grace, satanic doctrine.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's neither here nor there. Let me say something to you, young man. Okay. Even Christ says, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. And through the mouth of babes, he shall teach this people. What you need to do also is to respect the fact that your father is trying the best he can with what he has. And respect him for that, okay? And respect the fact that he's a good father, okay? And be patient with him. Now, I thank the Most High that you have to realize that the Holy Spirit, through you following our teachings, pulled you out of any level of criminality. That was Christ right there. But I believe that it's something that your father or your family instilled in you that led you to a degree in which you can actually receive this message. All right? So understand, yes, we're your family, brother. Yeah. We're your family. But, brother, your father is your family first.
100%.
All right?
And I've grown.
Okay. All right.
I've grown seriously to just deal with it.
Yeah.
But I thank you so much for everything you did for me and my family, Elder.
Be patient with your father, okay? He'll come around.
Can I say one more thing before you go?
Go on.
Can I say one more thing? I know you're on a time. It just amazes me how people, when we were not in the truth and we were celebrating Christmas and all that, people would find money going to debt to do that. But when it comes to the academy, people don't have money. And it just amazes me how when it comes to supporting our own, we don't have the money and everybody want to hook up. But when it comes to supporting what the Gentiles in the world was doing, we'll find money to do that. That just amazes me in itself.
Well, brother, everyone have their different circumstances, and some people are really hurting. That's just the truth. You understand? But, we do our best. We do let people in for free, a certain number and all that. But we understand our people are hurting too, man. All right? But thank you, brother. And I'm glad you're in the academy. You're in the academy, right?
I haven't, but I will be.
Okay. Well, bless you, brother. Thank you. All right.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Love you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to see the Most High waking up these young warriors, right? Woo! I'm happy when I hear a brother turn away from his crime and all that.
Exactly.
He was living in Compton, living in the street, shooting, gang banging. See, but you'll never hear the media call this brother in for an interview and say how this work changed his life.
Right.
How him knowing he's in Israel, now accountable to the God of the Bible, it have made him a better citizen for American society. You'll never hear that.
Exactly. And that's deep in itself, because with all this talk of Israelites radicalizing and creating terrorists and things of that nature.
Yeah.
This shows that becoming an Israelite actually de-radicalizes you.
Exactly. Because when you look at it, and that's a good point you made, other lawyer, because think about it. I have countless numbers of stories we've heard of these testimonies, brothers and sisters, how this have changed their family, how they wouldn't have lived this long if it wasn't for this. Yep. And here it is. You can have one event. Just say if it's exactly what they said it is. And I don't believe it.
Exactly.
But just say if it is. When the truth and the positive that effect is having, it's outweighing anything they can perpetrate or portray as negative.
Exactly.
I hear countless stories like this.
Exactly.
About brothers who used to gang bang and all that and have become better people. Here it is. He's not trying to shoot a gun anymore or steal from his people.
Right.
He's trying to use the Bible as his spiritual weapon to do what? To save his family.
Right. And on that story, if it happened as they said it happened, even in their story, by their account, he didn't do that while he was a Hebrew Israelite. He did it after
Exactly.
he left whatever Israelite group he was so called a part of.
Exactly. And bringing this story together with this brother who was just on the phone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was under a Christian pastor.
Exactly. That's right.
While he was gangbanging and all that.
That's right.
And not once was there a story that Christianity led to this young man harassing and harming his own community. Now he was under a Christian pastor, his father, and was a terror to his own community, and yet no one was reporting anything about that. Need y'all to check that out. To show you the wicked slant that comes with mainstream media. You can terrorize your people and all that and hurt your people in the name of Christianity and Islam, and there's no report relating any of those religions to your criminality. But if you are an Israelite, you can't do one thing wrong in the light of society. You do one thing wrong, you're a terrorist, you're a hater, all that. And even if you're not even with a group, you're linked to one through the media. It's utterly ridiculous. I'm glad that I thank you, brother, for coming with that testimony.
Sir. Yes, sir.
470 area code.
You know what? One last thing. We probably should do a show or maybe interviews just dedicated to people who were terrorizing their community and in a life of crime, shooting and things of that nature, and what actually becoming an Israelite has done to change their life and reverse that, to kind of combat this idea that becoming an Israelite is radicalizing and causing people to become terrorists and things of that nature.
You know what? We can title it. It just came to me. Israelite in a positive light. Israelites in a positive light. Make sure I'm going to write that down.
Yes, sir.
Israelites in a positive light. And if you were doing anything wrong that can be considered criminal without, criminalizing and actually compromising yourself. Come on our show and let's talk about it.
Exactly.
Israelite in a positive light. We're going to do a show on that. Great. See how the Holy Spirit just be working when we're together. These shows organically the Most High give us more shows just by us conversating.
Yep.
Israelites in a positive light will be our show next Wednesday. All right. Only got 2 more calls, and then I'll open it up for Elder Gaja. 574 area code.
Elder Ricard, I've been on before, but can I share a few quick testimony?
Okay, go on. Hurry up, because I got someone else. I have someone else.
It's changed my whole entire life. 8 months ago, I was down in the gutter. I was completely unaware of my surroundings, treating people disrespectfully, my family disrespectfully, my girlfriend disrespectfully. This whole year has been a complete turnaround. I was blessed with a son this year, a home this year, and these are materialistic things despite my son, But it's changed my whole mental state, my whole mood state, the way I treat people, and everything, in every single light, And the things that I've come through, and I feel like I've been called a long time ago, and I didn't listen like Jonah, and Jonah got put in the whale. I feel like, when I finally sat down and accepted all the things that I had done, and how every time I had done something wrong, I felt like in the name of Jesus I was saved. But when this truth came, man, and it started happening in 2014, but it started happening before that. I was in the department.
Well, you're taking up somebody else's time, brother, so you have to wrap it up because you was on earlier. You got to wrap it up. All right? I want to hear it all, but you may want to leave this for that show I'm talking about. All right?
Yes, sir. All praises.
Yeah, leave that for the show. We're talking about Israelites in a positive light.
You guys for what you do.
All right. Thank you, brother. I don't want you to take up so much time. I got you. And we had you on earlier. I have to be fair. 470 area code. Shalom. 470 area code. You're on. Last but not least, last call for this evening. Last call for this evening. Let's see here. 1 second here. Last call for the evening. Did I do 816 yet? Did I?
I'm not sure. Actually.
Last call for the evening, 816. Shalom.
Hello, elders. I was on earlier. This is Sister Tammy from
Okay,
Kansas
thank
City.
you. Do you want to make sure I
But
covered
great
everyone?
show. Mhm.
All right, thank you, sister. Want to make sure I covered everyone. Okay. Well, what 512? Was that on yet?
That was probably the one that was the last.
512.
Yep.
Last call. Shalom. Shalom. Okay. That concludes our broadcast. Last but not least, I have to bring Elder Gaja in. And I'm going to let the elders have the last word. All right?
Hey, shalom.
Shalom.
Big show. You with me? Not really much I can say, you know. Hey. Some demons getting exercise tonight.
Oh yes, they Ghostbuster. One thing that's deep about this, Gaja, is people don't know how deeply rooted and evil the virgin birth doctrine is.
Mm-hmm.
How it's really the highest height of witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
That's at the base of all pagan ideology.
Yo, listen. Let me read something for you here, Elder. If you don't mind.
Come on. See, I knew I was gonna pull something out of you.
Let me grab it here real quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I you know, we brought this out a few weeks ago. But I'm gonna bring it out again for those who probably never heard it. Yeah. I'm in the secret history of the Jesuits.
The secret history of the Jesuits.
Yo, check this out. It says here, at the front, it is the characteristic of this order. We find the Virgin Mary. Loyola had made the Virgin the most important thing in his life. The worship of Mary was the base of his religious devotions and was handed down by him to his order. So the Jesuits got the worship of Mary handed down to them from Loyola coming down. He was worshiping Babylon, ancient, Babylon mysticism, and that's really the basis of Catholicism. That's what it is. So when you look at the Catholic Church, right, and people can check this out. Every Christian organization, right, receives doctrine from the Catholic, aka the Jesuits.
It's 4 minutes left, Gaja, but go on.
Yeah, everyone receives the doctrine from there. You are a product of the horde.
That's deep in itself. Hey, that's telling the truth. Before you go, let me pull it up because I said it earlier real quick. I said it earlier. Here, let me pull it up. Only got a couple of minutes before we're all done here. I pulled it up earlier. What do you see? Oh, right there. Here it is right here. Yamaya is associated with the Virgin Mary and Isis, is the most beloved Orisha. She is the goddess of the ocean and the moon, guardian of women in childbirth, fertility, and witchcraft. She rules the subconscious and creative endeavors. Her colors are blue and white. She is a special intercessor for mothers and gay men. Semjaza, the leader of the rebel sons of heaven, is connected with her also. Okay? So when you do the research, this is the base of all Christian religion that had been established under the Christian Catholic Universal Religion. And when you go into African religion, she's at the base of it. When you go into Islam and Eastern religions like Buddhists, she's at the base of it. The virgin birth is the top top witchcraft science within the subconscious of humanity that's deceiving and leading the majority of mankind to hell.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to destroy it. And I'm glad you brought that out about in the Jesuits' books, it tell you that's their true worship. It had nothing to do with Christ. They don't believe in Christ.
Exactly.
They worship the Queen Mother of Heaven, Semiramis, Isis, and later, after our fall, the original Christians, the Roman pagans turned that old Babylonian witch into Mary.
Mm-hmm. And this is what you see, like, you see the Egyptologists, when they go, O'Shea, like, yo, man, you don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Straight witchcraft. They are invoking demons and opening up demons into their realm.
Exactly.
The same demons Christ was casting out or casting into hell altogether or into pigs. Watch out for that glazed ham. With that, I'm going to say shalom, brothers and sisters. Elder Lloyd, you have anything to say before we roll out?
Yes, sir. Just one quick scripture.
Come on.
Book of St. Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13 through 14. Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be that go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
There it is. Shalom. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We will soon see Zion. Shalom.
Shalom.
The Bible.
Shalom. Hey, Elder, before we go, we out?
Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes...
What you say? Elder Gadget? Okay, let's go.
...is the fact that this
I'm here.
is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra-biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew Bible Academy. You're invited.